Hello everyone and welcome to the Shinhan Tank Pro League. My name is Kix. I am the caster, host and organizer of this fine tournament, and joining me today is Rapid Casting.
That's right, I do nothing for this fine tournament, but I'm here for some reason at 3:30 a.m. KST, and yeah, for some reason I'm gonna talk about some Brood War and stuff with my good friend Kix. How's it going, Kix?
Not too bad, thanks. It's been, you know what, you're just gonna say it's way too hot in Korea, but in the UK it's unbearable, man. I don't care if it's hotter in
Okay,
Korea.
what is unbearable though?
It's, I don't know, it's been like 27, 28. It's too much, man. The UK
That's
isn't
about
built for
what it
this.
is. Yeah, so that's about what it is here if you add on 10 more degrees.
Yeah, but you've got air conditioning, right? It's all good. This is the UK.
Yeah, you know, the technology, it just arrived, so I'm sure you guys will be getting it any day now.
Yeah, it's a new thing, aircon, but hopefully we'll get it in more places soon. Maybe in some old houses.
What is it with Commonwealth countries and no air conditioning? Because when I lived in Australia, they also didn't have air conditioning, and there it was like 45 degrees. And I was like, okay,
Yeah.
come on, like there's steps to survival, right? Like you have food, shelter, civilization, and then like air conditioning in 40-degree countries. But they didn't figure it out there. I'm sure you guys will get it any day now.
That's, you know what? That's because Australians, man, they're hardcore. They have to like completely destroy like 20-foot high spiders every day just to leave their house to go to work. So they've hardened to the heat. That's nothing compared to the monsters that they have to face on a daily basis.
Yeah, I would never worry about that. I just don't leave my house. So I left my house to get Cheetos chicken this morning, and that's about it.
Wait, Cheetos chicken, or do you mean like two separate things?
No. That is actually one thing. We took the best of two things, and so the process of product development was like it's exactly like Reese's peanut butter cups. You have one guy hold the chicken and the other guy hold the Cheetos bag, and then you have them walk around a corner and they bump into each other, and the Cheetos goes on the chicken, and then one guy says, "You got Cheetos in my chicken," and the other guy says, "You got chicken in my Cheetos." And then they both eat it, and they look at the camera with big smiling yum faces, and then the logo flashes over. That's the way the commercial would go. But it's actually like a big promotion from this chicken chain out here called Mexicana Chicken, and they partnered with this one dumb K-pop band, and it's a big, oh, this is Cheetos chicken, it's American or something. I don't know. It's just like
Nice.
a wacky thing, and I don't know. I'm a test case of one, but I thought it was pretty dope, so that's my endorsement.
Yeah, not too bad. Cheetos Chicken, the new sponsor of the STPL, guys. Go buy that, but don't.
Yeah, I do. Just hit them up, man. I'm sure they'd love to pair with one of the
foreign...
one of the largest global Brood War team leagues in the world.
Yeah, you know what? I've got global reach for their brand. It's just a brand new thing. It's not too bad.
And all they have to do is like throw some chicken your way.
Yeah, with some Cheeto powder as well. So, I mean, that can't be too expensive, right? That'll be fine. Yeah, it should be pretty cool to do that. And you know what else is pretty cool? It's Brood War, and we are heading into 2 series today of that. I'm just going to head it on over to the overlay just so I will allow you to introduce the maps that we'll be seeing today.
Oh boy, oh boy, oh boy, oh boy. I can't wait to introduce the maps today. It's always my favorite part, especially when I get it wrong. Okay, so it's finally updated on my team. Here are the maps today: Return of the King, Dreamliner, Troy, Triathlon, and New Sniper Ridge.
They are indeed, and they should be some fairly good maps, as we are going to head on to our first series of today, which is going to be the last of the Week 2 games, the one that was a little bit harder for them to finish, but it is finally finished played. The final game was played yesterday, despite that Week 2 was 2 weeks ago. But it's all good, everything is ready for today, and it's going to be aSh versus Team 9.
Okay, so aSh versus Team 9 is our first series, and then our second series, I believe, is IRK versus Rev.
Yep, that is correct.
Okay, so aSh versus Team 9 or 9thTeam. This is, I guess, kind of a meme. If you didn't know, back in the day, the Oz team Out in Korea, they were Leikaf and then Hwaseong and then Just Oz, and they couldn't find a sponsor, so Kespa took over the team, and they were called the 8thTeam because Kespa needed 8 teams for Pro League. So this is 9thTeam, and much like the 8thTeam, this is made up of a combination of Foreign Brood War and Team Liquid staff, if I'm not mistaken.
Yep, you are correct indeed. You've got Team Liquid staff and Foreign Brood didn't have enough players to really continue in on the tournament, and they did have players that wanted to play the more active ones, so they smushed together, made 9thTeam, and here they are. They've not done too badly so far in the STPL. They only have played 2 weeks, of course, together, but they did win their first week, and this is their second week now. This is aSh's debut game in round 2 as well. Now, aSh have had their own share of problems, unfortunately. They've had a lot of inactivity, a lot of people who kind of played in round 1 and didn't really want to play again, just because either they didn't have enough time as we're coming up to summer and everything like that. But they're looking to do a little bit better now. They did have Castle and Landowner join them from the team that were meant to join on round 2, which is Infected Marines, but their team, unfortunately, they were mostly all Americans and they couldn't fit to the schedule, so they jumped out. But aSh did okay. They showed up for all their games last season. They did put in a lot of effort, but unfortunately they were just in a group that was a little bit too hard for them, and they actually went 0 for 5. But it's not too bad because they are back here in round 2, and if you don't already know, everybody who plays in the STPL does win some money at the end of it. So yeah.
That's the best part. Unfortunately, I am not playing in the STPL, so I will not be winning any money. But as a consolation prize, I get to talk about the games. So that's moral victory.
That is a very good and very well needed moral victory, actually, I would say, because we are going to have a look at what our matches are going to be today. So the first 2 matches, this is a little bit of an announcement. We are going to start with set 3. Landowner didn't turn up for aSh, and unfortunately Just didn't turn up for 9thTeam. So we're going to start with a TBT on Troy, and it should be a fairly interesting one. Now, it's going to be between these 2 players. And there we go. So it's going to be between kimquex, I don't know if I'm saying his name right, for aSh. Now, he is one of their new pickups for round 2. He didn't appear in round 1 at all. And his opponent going to be playing Terran this time, usually a Zerg player. It's going to be Tempest. Now, he did lose his 2 games of round 1, but he's going to be back here in round 2, looking to put a little bit more of a dent on that scoreboard, putting a little bit of, a lot of effort for his team. And he is one of the more active members on the Foreign Brood War Discord, so
yeah, I was kind of wondering about how to pronounce kimquex's name. Thought for a second it could be like kimquez, because the X can make a Z sound and the Q can make a K sound, but neither of those is the case because the X isn't the preceding letter and the Q has a U with it. So kimquex, man, that sounds like, it reminds me of Chex Quest actually a little bit. By far the best, definitely not Doom game ever made. But I'm glad that this guy is keeping the naming conventions going. And then, yeah, Tempest is kind of always out there. If you've ever joined the Foreign Brood War, you can't help but be inundated by his elucidated opinions sooner or later.
Okay, so you know what? I think it's a good time to introduce what map they're going to be playing on. I did say it before, but it's going to be Troy. Now, there's a lot of people who probably haven't seen Troy before. It's a map from, I believe, 2009. I can just fact check that now, actually.
You are correct.
But it was used in a good number of tournaments, actually, and there was a really good amount of fun games on this map. So even in the SCPL and Clash for Char, we've had a lot of interesting games. It was actually used in 4 OSLs. No, actually 2 OSLs, sorry. 2 of them were, one of them was WCG and 1 was an OSL, my bad. And it was used in a couple of other things as well. And the Bacchus on-game started from 2008. So it's a 2008 map. But either way, 4 corners. There's a very cool set of landmarks, as you can see all of the assimilators on the map. Now, we can talk about that when we get into the game, I guess, but it's a fairly important map feature and can be heavily abused by the red players.
That's true. probably best to talk about that once the game actually starts, since um, seeing it in action is the biggest or best way to kind of figure out what on earth is happening. So, yeah, it is actually a cool map. I'm a bigger fan of this than I am of like Flight Dreamliner, which is only cool because somebody drew a plane in the middle of it.
We had a really cool TBT on that map yesterday, man. You missed out. It was cool. But either way, let's head on over to the game and let's get started with our first game of today. It's the game number 3 of our first set between kimquex and Tempest. There we go, my Brood War has finally shown itself. Thank you very much for the follow, Artanis. Either way, starting us off here in the top right-hand position, we do have the Orange Terran fighting for, apparently IM, but he's actually on aSh. He must have been one of the Infected Marines players. It's going to be kimquex.
Wow, this is actually... I love that replays can lag. Like, the concept that that is possible just shows the level that our humanity has progressed to. Like, I don't know, I just would never... This is just... Wow. Anyway, you know, we've already set it for extra high latency, and you can really feel that with these SCVs. They are chugging along. Anyway, yeah, his opponent is Tempesto, which is what happens when you take the green pasta dressing and want to make it your username.
Yep, now one thing I'm going to do is hopefully fix that lag. I'm going to make sure I clean anything that shouldn't be running from running, as I noticed.
No, it's not. It's definitely not you.
It's not been this bad before though, so...
No, I mean, I did log onto this with the Europe server, like just from... I don't know, but we're gonna watch some little chuggy SCVs here for a second. I mean, it looks fine on your screen. Okay, never mind. No, it doesn't. Okay, I guess we're just gonna do this. This is the struggle of wanting to cast Brood War but living in Korea.
Yeah.
That's meant to be mildly ironic because most Brood War is cast from Korea, but you know, there are some people who like to do it. It's way too far away.
Yeah, there are, and that would be me. But you know what? As the sole remaining survivor of the UK Brood War scene, I can't help but admit, like, it's not too bad being here. But being in Korea is certainly easier. But then again, it'd be harder for me to cast the tournament for European and Americans. So, easy come, easy go, I guess.
Yeah, okay. I guess we can start to talk about the games, because they should be fairly interesting, given that there are now not one, but 2 barracks being constructed in the middle of the map.
They are indeed. Now, weirdly enough, they're a little bit off-center. He's built them a little bit closer to his choke as well. BBS, not the best choice in TBT, depending on what your opponent does. It's actually quite easy to hold off if it's scouted. But is kimquex going to go for that cross-position scout? Or is he going to go for the bottom right? That could change everything.
I think he is actually going to scout cross positions, and scouting cross positions. Oh,
no.
Guess not. Wow. Okay, he is not going to scout cross positions. And even if you do scout cross positions, the pathing through the terrain blockers in the middle doesn't guarantee that you see things, depending on the position they're built in. I don't know about the position for these racks, because I've never BBS'd on Troy, because who plays this map? The answer is not a lot of people. But for this tournament specifically, maybe that's great, and I don't even think that he'll scout. Okay, yeah, I think he will actually scout those racks when he scouts the bottom right or bottom left now.
Either way, he's gonna see the SCV coming from that direction. It's coming from the middle of the map, so this could tip him off just slightly. And yes, he does see the first racks, only barely though.
Yeah, that'll tip him off just slightly, Kix. I concur.
Yeah, that first racks, that scout, very, very important, but still, he's in a pretty weird position right now. Luckily for him, Tempest actually scouted last, so he isn't going to be able to get straight up. But as you can see, kimquex is building a bunker behind the assimilators. Now, the reason why this is important, Rapid, is if these assimilators both die, you are trapped in your base unless you have ghosts. Now, the bunker has finished. Can he get his marine in? Yes, he can. But of course, Tempest can just run his marines past.
Yeah, he's just gonna run by. One Marine in a bunker does not kill 4 Marines instantly, and this is 4 Marines and an SCV, which is like twice as deadly as just 4 Marines because the SCV probably does more damage than most of them. But he's not actually microing the Marines hardly at all. So one of them gets surrounded, and the rest get killed off by SCVs. So
that was really, really nicely microed by kimquex.
Yeah. So in the future, Kix, once players really figure out how to play Brood War, you'll actually just see people start to build command centers as their only unit production buildings, because if you build a barracks, you're actually building units that are much weaker than SCVs. So clearly the solution is just to build more SCVs, because I just watched 4 Marines walk into a Terran base.
Okay.
And did they kill an SCV?
I would just like to point... I think they did, but I would just like to point out that I saw an SCV going back towards kimquex's base. It had gas, and it's because Tempest had his gas stolen.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's very unfortunate, but GG, a very, very quick game there by kimquex. A perfect defense against that BBS, and the perfect counter with that gas steal, so really well done by him. A little bit of mismicro there by Tempest, but still, that will put aSh up 2-1 in the series.
Yeah. I'd like to point out that the true victory is that this replay file is exactly 420 long. So, you know, for whatever that's worth, it was a great, fantastic game.
It was indeed. 420, certainly a funny number. 69.
That's how funny it is, Kick.
Yeah, 69, the other inherently funny number for no reason. Well, for no reason, but you know the reason. Either way, let's head on over to the intro, and we'll be back in just a moment with our second game. See you guys shortly.